legs stretched out. Now make your feet wider than hip width. Extend your arms overhead, and I just want you to corkscrew, meaning rotate your thighs in and out. So your feet will almost go into a waving motion. The big toes might touch, the little toes might touch the floor. Do a few more. Get lots of oxygen into the body here. Good, and then pause, take a deep inhale, and bend your right knee into your chest. Bend that knee to the right shoulder for a moment. Now hold behind your thigh, extend that leg up, maybe circle, or just move around the ankle a little. Good. On an exhale, lift your head and chest up, walk your hands up the leg. Draw the outer abs to the middle of your body. Good, release your head down. Let's cross right ankle onto left thigh so that left knee bends up to you and come into pigeon. Both hands hug around the left thigh to pull. Keep this dynamic, so while we're not yanking on muscles, maybe you have a slight pulsing movement with your breath. Good, now pause, step that left foot back to the ground, arms onto the sides, and rotate knees left. So collapse your knees left. Maybe your right foot is actually standing on the floor now. Turn your head right for 3 breaths. Good, bring it all back up and extend your legs out. On an in-breath, reach your arms overhead, work at your own pace. Exhale, left knee to chest. Extend that left leg up, hold behind your leg. Try to get that knee straight, so make a really open back of knee and move your ankle around. If you want, curl up on an exhale. Use your abs, walk up that left leg. Good, bring it back down and into lying down pigeon here. Left ankle crosses over. Create some freedom in your hips by breathing and moving here. Step your right foot back to the ground, arms out, and slowly collapse your knees right. So this stretch is for the outer left hip. If you don't feel it, you always have the option of crossing the legs on top of each other all the way. But usually what works, if you drag your right knee upward toward your right armpit more, then that ankle is a lot sharper for the left hip to having to stretch. One more breath. Good, bring it up, uncross, and let's come up to seated position. Just gonna adjust that camera one more time. Good, so coming to a cross-legged position. Cross your right ankle or shin in front, hands on your knees, and just roll the shoulders back a couple times. Make sure there's no excessive tension in your body trying to sit tall. Just naturally stack your shoulders over the hips. Good. Feel that outward floating energy in the spine, in the neck, the crown. And sink your head over to the right into a side tilt. Now take your left fingertips somewhere to the left shoulders, your left elbow bends, and make 3 big rotations with that left elbow. Make sure you don't just do little circles, do as far and big as you can. Good, come back to center, find that outward energy again, and sink your head to the left into tilt. Right fingertips on the right shoulder head and rotate 3 times. Good, after about 3, lower the left hand down and the head comes to center. Take your hands at the heart. Good, and let's warm up with that little chest exercise we do. Gently press your hands together and lift them so that your elbows are about chest height. Now bring your elbows together. If you're stiff in your shoulders, you might have the elbows lower or higher, but go kind of to your maximum. Hold that imaginary $100 bill between your elbows and now begin to pulse the arms outward. Don't allow a gap between your elbows. Squeeze your chest. Breathing. Feel out your neck for 10, 9, press upward, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and raise your arms up. Open the chest now. Inhale and fold forward. Exhale. Walk your hands over to the right. Stretch them away from the body. Walk your hands over to the left. Walk it back to center and sit up. Good. We're going to swing that right leg behind us for Wild Thing. You could just lean back if you can today. Lift your hips up, press them forward. Good. Lower down and just shake your legs out in front of you for a moment. Cross left shin in front now. Good. Sweep that left arm up. Bring the hand to the nape of your neck. Take a moment to really lift that elbow to the ceiling. And then with your right hand, grab the elbow and side bend right. Come back to an upright position. Right hand releases behind you. Left hand on right knee for the twist. So left hand is on right knee and twist to the right. Use that neck and use your abdominals. Rotate them to the right. Come back to center. Shoulders over hips. And raise your right arm. Right hand to the nape of your neck. And grab that elbow to pull it to the left. Come back to an upright spine. Top of the head, right over sacrum. Left hand behind you, right hand on the opposite knee and twist left. Good, come back to center. This time, rather than folding forward this way, place your feet together, but slide them away. So you're making a diamond shape with your legs and then bow down. Feel like you want to put your head toward your heels. So your whole spine from your sacrum to your neck, everything is stretching right now. 2 more. And back up to neutral. Into wild thing. Swing that left leg behind you. Adjust your right leg where you need it. Right hand is your kickstand to lift. Good. Release down and let's move on to all fours. Good. Moving to all fours. Spread your hands. Find a good wrist position for yourself, but make sure you really use your finger pads and begin to round. Roll the pubis to the chest, chest to the pubis, so you use your abs. And inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Round. Pull the abs up and into the center, the midline of your body. One more. Neutral spine, and I want you to please go and grab your block so it's just near you here. Good. And now let's scoop the belly up. Stretch your right leg back, straight back behind you, left arm forward. Balance here. Now 5 times pull knee and elbow either toward, let's just go pull it toward each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Left hand down and step your right foot between your hands. Right? A little more to the right hand. Now grab the block and pull it to the outside of your right foot. Put your right hand on that block. We're going to go right into a side stretch. Tuck your back toes and spin your left heel in toward, so both heels are in the same line. Now sink your hips down and stretch your left arm up. Almost like an extended warrior 2. Now try to work your hips. Rotate the tailbone toward your left heel and take 3 more breaths. Create length from the heel to the top of your head. Good. Look down carefully. Come back to all fours. Good. Now, rather than arching and rounding, walk your knees back and lower to your forearms for a moment. Forearms pretty parallel here. And now sink your chest. Think of a down dog or a puppy pose. So your tail sticks way up to the ceiling and your forehead and your chest sink down. Nice shoulder stretch. You can rock in and out of it very slowly if you want. Surrendering your chest down. One more time. Good. Let's come to neutral. Forearms are parallel, shoulders over elbows. Now draw your front ribs in, tailbone slightly under and coming to a forearm plank. Find a connection from your pubis to where your front rib cage parts, right? The end of your sternum. And kind of draw that toward each other. Use your glutes. In other words, I'm telling you to not sway your back. Draw in, use that core. Knitting your lower abs here, where all of your abs are working, even your obliques. One more. And carefully line into your belly. Also, still propped up on your forearms. Just adjust your forearms here. We're in Sphinx pose. I'm going to stay here. And you guys can lie flat on your belly, so slide your hands back to the place where your elbows were and set up cobra. If you don't feel like it, you're just like me in Sphinx. Otherwise, forehead is on the floor, charge up your lower body, and on an inhale, curl up to your cobra. Remember, the belly button is on the floor in cobras, it's not an up dog. On the exhale, lower back down, forehead surrenders to the floor. Again, use your glutes, press your hips into the floor, and inhale, curl up into a cobra one more time. Take a breath or so. And then catch an exhale to surrender down. Everyone, child's pose, wide knees. And back up to all fours to do the whole thing on the other side. Make sure you have your block near you. Spread your fingers. Go in and left leg back, straight back, right arm forward. Even here, knit the belly in. This is an ab exercise. And for 5 times, pull knee and elbow together. 1, go slow. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right hand down, and the left foot steps forward toward the left thumb. Place your left hand on the block. Right toes tap. That heel turns in. Watch your heels, they're both in the same line. And reach your right arm to the ceiling. And then if your hips stick way back, rotate that left hip underneath you. Just saying hello to all the big muscles here. One more, inhale. And exhale, this time we'll go right to down dog. You can always go back to all fours if you want. Try it out a little. Stretch your calves toward the floor. You might want to slide your knees back to the floor and then step your right forward, or sweep your right leg up, inhale, and step the foot between your hands. Lunge position. Now look at your feet, they're not behind each other. Walk the right foot a tiny bit right, left foot a tiny bit left. Sacrum heavy, and now reach your arms up. If this is too hard, please just go for warrior 1. Better balance, right? Breathe. Breathing into the lower lungs. Soften your shoulders. They're heavy on the back, your shoulder blades. Now reach your arms back behind you. Lean forward, and from your head to your back heel, you're becoming a long line. So I want you to make a really long leg. Scoop the belly in and make a really long back. Look down for 3, 2, 1. Half split, hands to the floor, lower the back knee, and slide your right heel forward, and back up your hips a little so you get that right hamstring and calf stretch. If you want to keep it more dynamic, you're rotating like we did lying. Rotate your whole leg side to side. Carefully come out of that. Set up your hands slightly ahead of your shoulders, and down dog we go. Good, in any way that you can, step that left foot forward. Make sure your feet are hip width as we discussed. Sacrum heavy, and reach your arms up. Imagine even here, shoulders over wrists, sorry, shoulders over hips as best as you can. Now arms reach behind you. Scoop your belly in as you lean forward. Find that length, super long right leg, and then lengthen out your spine by reaching your chest forward. Soft neck as you look down. And gently place your fingers to the floor, drop your right knee, and half split we go. If you did a rotation of your legs, do that again. All right, and now just back up your left foot a little. If that's not your good standing leg, stand up in a different way. Otherwise, just come to standing here. Just zoom never the whole person on that screen, but all right. All right, just step your feet hip width apart. Just pause for a moment, roll your shoulders. And then you all know the grip. You're just going to do a steeple hand grip above. So sweep the arms up. Clasp all the fingers except the index. Plant your feet. Notice how you're evenly standing on your feet. And now just tick-tock into a side stretch, side to side. Sway right, sway left. Go slow enough so you really get the stretch. You don't have to hold the breath. Although your legs are straight, your back of your knees are soft. So we're not locking out anything. One more round. Good. Pause at the center and now reach, clasp behind you. Soften the knees more into almost a mini chair pose and clasp your hands behind you and stretch your chest forward. If this bothers the neck to look back, just tuck your chin in, but lift the chest. Good. Release. Place your hands to your thighs. Now step your feet fairly wide here. So think almost like a triangle pose stance, but with your knees bent and your toes turned out. Now, hands are close to the knees on your thighs, and I want you to lock out your left arm. Look in the mirror, I mean the camera if you can't figure it out. Lock out your left arm, rotate your left shoulder down, turn your chest to the right. Now switch, lock out your right arm, you're pressing that right thigh away. I'm getting a big stretch in my right inner thigh and a rotation in my spine. Go side to side. It's important you lock out the arm that you're turning away from. Just figure it out and do a couple more rounds. And then come to the center and just do 2-3 rounds, arching and rounding. Work with your pelvis, tuck it under as you round, and then stick it out as you arch. Good, and come up to standing again. Step your feet together and just shake it out for a moment. Good. You can do this entire thing without folding forward if that's easier, but let's step to the front of the mat now, feet together or hip width. And step, reach your arms to the ceiling, rather. Reach your arms to the ceiling, inhale, and fold forward, exhale. Step your left foot back and turn the heel in. Reach, shift your weight back to the left foot. Think warrior one, and reach your arms up. So lots of weight in my back leg here. Lunge into the front leg, squeeze your back glute. So that's your left one, right? Now wrap your left arm under the right, eagle arms, and pull up your elbows. Good, release, open to warrior two. So widen your stance. Right heel is in line with your left arch, arms out. And look at the right hand. The whole time your chest turns away from your right hand. Good, feel the left inner thigh firm here. And now reach your right arm up and back, stretch that whole right side open. Maybe drop another inch lower into the right thigh. Come back to warrior two. Straighten your front leg. I will bring the back foot in just a tad, heel turn out, and come to triangle. Here's the same thing. Try to not let your hips drift back. Rotate the outer right hip down and in between your feet as best as you can. Feel free to adjust your back heel backward more. One more breath. Good. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, hands to the hips. And step left foot next to right. So we're back. Mountain pose, feet hip width. I'm just going to switch sides of the mat so I don't face away from you. Here, instead of just sweeping up, we're going to do the chair pose. So sit down to chair, arms up and forward. Now, downward facing chair, lean your chest forward, sit low, take your hands reaching behind you, and fold forward. So lift your hips and fold your chest and head down. Now step your right foot back and turn the heel in. Warrior one, arms reach up. Rather than having external cues, just feel your body. Notice what feels right. A little thing that you can always work on when you're barefoot, make the soles of your feet and the muscles in your feet dynamic, so grip the floor. You should feel your arches turn on. And now wrap the opposite arm under. For me, it's the left arm under. Lift your elbows up. And unwind into warrior two. Look at the left hand as the chest faces the same square direction as your hips. Again, get that energy, that upward energy in the spine. Now raise your left arm, reach it up, stretch. Back to warrior two. Big inhale here. Straighten your left leg. Adjust your back foot forward a bit for triangle. We talked about the cues. Try to work on them again. Two more. Good. Let's rise back up. Turn your feet parallel to each other. Hands to the sides of your pelvis and stretch back. Inhale. And fold forward. Exhale. Same thing here. Don't jam your knees back if you're more flexible. Keep the knee joints over the ankle joints, hip joints over those two joints. Now take your right hand over to the left heel or whatever you can grab off that lower left leg and rotate your left arm to the ceiling. Switch. Good. Back to center, hands to the hips. And inhale, rise back up. Very nice. Step your feet together. Shake it out again or do whatever you want to do here. All right. So we'll go into a tree pose. Right foot is your standing foot and leg here. Left foot comes up to the inner thigh or inner calf, not against the knee, just be mindful. Hands at your heart center. Now gazing at the floor, as you probably know, is easier. So that's why you might want to raise your gaze to the ceiling. Just be that non-judgmental observer here. With your arms reaching up, but maybe not. Let go into what is. Hands back to the heart to center yourself. And then with control, release that left foot down. Other side. Your face non-reactive and soft. Arms could go higher. And hands back to heart center to release. All right. Good, so that was the balance pose. Now let's face the front of the mat again, right foot steps forward. Have your block near you actually. Let's do the twisted version. Right foot steps forward, left foot slightly back. So a closer stance than a warrior one would be. Turning your left heel in for balance, right? Hands to the hips. Try to get those hips parallel or square. Now root down to the back leg and lean forward. Take your back to the big toe side, any height you need, left hand on it, and then sweep your right arm to the ceiling. Turn your chest right. Focus on your lower body, that is your grounding. One more, twisting more on the exhale. Long spine. Good, right hand down. You can keep the block where it is and come back up to that split stance. And then we switch, right foot back, left foot forward. Square those hips again. Nothing wrong with actually touching your hip joints here and notice them square. Bring through the back leg, lean forward. Breathe the whole time. Right hand lands onto the block, left arm to the ceiling. Now our spines tend to be round when we first come into the pose. So sacrum heavy and lift your chest out. So you get that length through the side body, through the spine. One more. Good, left hand down. And stay in that split stance, just lift your torso. Good, step both feet forward. You can keep the block there if you want, but we'll do a standing split. So I'm going to back up a little on my mat. Step right foot forward, left foot back. Make sure your hips are square again and fold in again. Fold in again, hands, fingertips slightly on the floor. Now that's why the block is here. If you need your hands on the block, do that. Although, so you should feel a nice stretch in your right hamstrings and calf area now. Option one, stay with that. Or micro bend your right knee. So just get out of a locked position, lean the chest forward and lift your left leg to the ceiling. You can walk your hands forward too. Now, it's easy to just throw your left hip up, but can you square your hips still and just drive your left leg up? Use your glute. Again, your right knee bends serves you much more to drive that left leg up. One more breath. Good, come back to the split stance and lift your torso up. And switch the position, right foot back. The square hips makes this really hard. Good, fold forward. Enjoy the stretch first before you do the work. Or at least I will. Good, micro bend the knee when you're ready and lift your right leg up. Hands can even walk wider, just keep your balance. Micro bend left knee here to drive your right leg up. Use your right butt cheek. Feel that. That is lifting you, that and your hamstrings. Check in, is your neck relaxed? Are your shoulders in pretty soft here? One more breath. You can step that right foot down and come right into child's pose from here. Surrender for a moment. Good, let's come back up and set up your hero pose. Once more, we can use the block here. You know, if this pose is not good for your knees, you lie on your belly and grab one of both ankles behind you. Otherwise, this is your version here. And remember, the more you can come out of an arch here and kind of scoot your tailbone under, rotate the pelvis forward, almost like you want to rotate the pubis to the navel, the more quad stretch you're going to get. Maybe one more breath if you can bear it. You should never endure a yoga pose. Just do it as long as it feels good. And then we'll stretch it all out and go to downward dog, unless you'd rather stay on all fours. We'll prep down dog into pigeon, right? A nice calf stretch, guys. You can try this too. So you're in down dog. Cross your right ankle or shin in front of the left shin, and then push your hands into the floor and push your hips back and drag your heels down. You have to really rotate your tailbone up and then switch. You keep your butt rounded under, you're not going to get as much. Rotate lift your hamstrings to the ceiling, in other words. Wow. Okay, unwind and bring your right knee to pigeon. Just let it go here, lower to the forearms, or even lay your chest down and breathe. Just be with your breathing for another moment. Slow down the mind. And then slowly bring your torso up. Grab your back ankle for one more good quad stretch. Sink your hips low. Just the idea of letting go and letting them drop with gravity might intensify that left leg stretch quite a bit. Let's release and go back to down dog or all fours. Some of you will add a vinyasa here. That's perfectly happy. Just do your thing. And then pigeon left leg. And just follow the breath in and out. Imagine all the little oxygen molecules going from your lungs into the bloodstream, feeding every organ, every cell of your body. Good. When ready, grab that right ankle, drop the hips. Those of you who want to do one more vinyasa at any time, go back to down dog, then shift to plank and do your thing. Otherwise, with me here, very slowly release your right leg, sit over into your left hip, and swing your legs forward. Shake them out. Good. Now step your left foot to the right inner thigh, but open up. So rotate your left hip back, almost as if you were in a straddle, but your left heel in, right? Good. Chest turns left, right hand to right ankle. And sweep your left arm up, or if your shoulder will let you, left arm over left ear. Now tip, if you turn your arm way back, it might hurt your shoulder, so bring your arm slightly forward of your head, and it might feel better. You can play around with looking down to the floor, which for most of us is much easier than looking up to the ceiling. We want to have strong mobile necks. Good, come back up, stay in that seated position. Now turn your chest to the right leg and fold in. It's easy to just let the left arm be short, but I want you to make that left arm long to reach for your outer right foot. And if you don't reach, just grab your opposite wrist, left hand to right wrist, right? Just make yourself long, 2 more breaths. Come back up. I will just switch sides here. Left leg up, right heel in. Turn your chest to the right and slide your left hand down to your lower left leg. Right arm sweeps overhead. Back to neutral. Turn your chest to the left leg and folding over that leg. And back up into a straddle, both legs out wide. You can work with your block under your hips or under your head if you're going that far forward, but fold in here. Come back up. All right, step your feet together on the floor into your boat pose. Important here is you're not collapsing. Lift your chest, lean back and hold the back of your legs, and pick up your feet. You know who you are today. We're different every day. If your back is perfectly happy here, extend your arms forward. Good. Lower the feet down again. Drop your knees open. This time, we'll pull the heels in. Take a moment to sit right on your sitting bones. Heels way in. Lean forward, pressing those heels together. Right, come back up. And let's lie on the back. Have your belt near you. As you're on your back, just windshield wiper your knees side to side a few times. Back to center, arms to the sides. Initiate this by rotating your tailbone slightly under and then lift up into bridge. Press your arms and shoulders down, even clasp your hands if you want. And slowly lower down. Drop your knees apart, soles of the feet connect. And relax. Continue to relax here, or with your arms pretty passive, keep pressing your feet together and into the floor and thrust your hips up. So squeeze your outer glutes inward and push your hips up. If this movement doesn't come from your glutes, it will inevitably come from the low back. So I need you to rotate the pelvis ever so slightly under to activate the glutes. If you're just keeping your back arch and push up, you're just overusing your back muscles. So pubis rotates to navel and press up. We've got about 6 more. 1, 2 more if you like. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good. Lower down and stretch your legs out for a moment. And come to happy baby pose. So I'll verbally guide you for the next couple things. Come to happy baby pose now. You rock side to side and just try to press your sacrum down. Good, and release your legs straight out onto the mat. And we'll finish with the very familiar belt work. So grab your belt, put it around the right foot, close to the ball of your foot, and extend that right leg up. Press up through the heel. Feel the back of that knee nice and open. And lower the leg over to the right. Anchor the left thigh and hip down. Good. Bring the leg up and slowly lower it across the body to the left, switching hands. Final breath here. Good. Bring it up and switch legs. Do the exact same thing on your left leg. Make sure you go all sides. You might already be over on the right side, leg crossing. Good. And when you're down, lower both legs down for a moment and remove your belt. Now, excuse me, on an inhale, extend your arms overhead to the top of the breath. Exhale, use your abs and hug your knees into the chest. Good. Now extend your arms out to the sides, palms down. So get some energy in your arms, almost pressing into the floor a little. And with core control, your knees are still bent toward the chest. Let the knees slowly roll to the right, fall over to the right into a twist. Turn your head left and breathe. Let the body really drop into this pose. Now engage your core, set again, and as slowly come back to center. With your palms resisting into the earth, on an exhale, go left. Brace your core, set again, and bring your knees back to center. Give yourself a nice hug, arms around the knees, rock side to side. And eventually Shavasana, lying flat down with your legs so relaxed that the feet might roll out. Turn your palms up and find a position that doesn't hold your shoulders hostage. So usually when we lift the arms and just drop them back to the floor, the shoulders will let go. And today I'd like you to just do one thing. Bring your index fingers and your thumbs together in this very famous yoga mudra here. So just very slightly connect. You're barely feeling that skin on skin of the two fingertips touching, and the other fingers are just relaxed. They probably will curl in. And I want you to just have this hand position on the floor. Allow the breath to flow. You're still somewhat paying attention to the breath. And try to allow your mind to become so clear and sharp and quiet that you can calmly focus on the connection of those four fingers touching each other. Let that be your focal point and hover with that. Should you drift into past or future, bring it back to the fingertips. Deepen your next breath now. Slowly wiggle your fingers now, wiggle your toes, feet, ankles. On an inhale, reach your arms overhead one more time. And release your arms down, bend your knees in. And roll to one side. Eventually to sit up. Now place your hands at the heart center, and for just a few seconds here, tune into that sense and feeling of well-being inside of you. Embrace it. I feel well. Namaste.